What's a good way to combine stillness and motion through a short video? How can one show the movement of the Milky Way through the night sky, or the dynamism of thousands of people and cars on a busy street, all in a few seconds? Time-lapse photography is one way to do just that. With some basic equipment, the right approach, and a good amount of creativity, you can create stunning images that move and tell a story. Time-lapse photography is a technique used to capture images at a more delayed rate than normal photography. Think one image every few seconds. The resulting video is then played back at a normal speed, creating the illusion of time moving faster. This technique can be used to capture things like the movement of clouds, the growth of plants, or even the construction of buildings. To create a time-lapse video, you will need to set up your camera in a fixed position and take a series of photos at regular intervals. These photos are then compiled into a video using editing software. The interval between each photo will determine how fast or slow the final video appears. At individual.in, that's us, we have a collection of time-lapses from different cities of India. For example, here's a time-lapse of the famous Ghanta Ghar of Lucknow. And here's one of the Chowmahala Palace in Hyderabad. Time-lapse clips are also a very common and effective way to start documentary features, to show the pace of progress and growth in a country, for example. If you're new to time-lapse photography, here are some tips and tricks to help you get started. First, choose your subject carefully. Ideally, you want some elements that are frozen in place and some that are moving to anchor the viewer. Think clouds moving rapidly over a static mountain range, or people moving in front of a large building. Second, use a tripod. This is very important. Since you'll be taking a lot of photos over a long period of time, it's important to keep your camera steady so that your photos don't end up blurry. Third, set your camera to manual mode. This will give you more control over things like shutter speed and aperture, which can be crucial for getting good time-lapse photos. Number 4, shoot in RAW format. This will give you most flexibility when it comes to editing your photos later on. 5. Use an intervalometer. This is a device that helps you trigger the camera shutter at preset intervals. Now, most new cameras come with the intervalometer function built in, but if you're using an older model, it's quite likely you'll need an external one. 6. Neutral density filters. ND filters act like sunglasses for cameras. They let you change the amount of light entering the lens without changing the color of the light. Simply put, is that you can take a long exposure even during bright daylight. 7. Plan ahead. Think of how many shots you'll need to take and the shutter speed of each shot so you know how long you'll need to be there. For example, if you're planning to make a 24 fps time-lapse that is 10 seconds long, with each shot having a shutter speed of 2 seconds and a 5-second gap between shots, the total time taken will be 24 into 7 into 10 seconds, or 28 minutes total. Also, you'll be using up your camera's battery life very rapidly, so definitely carry extras. 8th, choose the shutter speed well. A slow shutter speed will capture more light and result in a brighter image, whereas a faster shutter speed will capture less light, but will of course help you speed up the whole process. Finally, if you're planning to do a daytime time-lapse, which doesn't require too long a shutter speed, check if your camera has SNQ mode. SNQ, or slow and quick mode, is an inbuilt feature in many newer cameras that greatly automates the process of shooting time-lapses. In the description, we'll link to a quick video explaining SNQ settings on a Sony camera. Now, all these tips were related to cameras. Newer phones, in fact, most high-end phones in the last couple of years, will feature some form of time-lapse mode that can greatly speed up the process for you. There are many different types of time-lapses, each with its own unique challenges and results. Here are a few of the most popular. Nightscape time-lapses are some of the most beautiful yet challenging to capture. They require long exposure times, often in difficult weather conditions, but the results can be stunning. Motion-controlled time-lapses add another layer of complexity to the already challenging process of capturing a time-lapse. By adding moving elements, such as a camera dolly or slider, you can create unique and eye-catching results. Hyperlapse time-lapses are a newer type of time-lapse that combine traditional time-lapse techniques with hyperlapse photography. So you're taking time-lapse shots and your camera itself is also moving at the same time. This results in incredibly smooth and fluid motion, as we can see in this example of the Charminar in Hyderabad from our collection. And here's another fantastic example combining time-lapses and hyperlapses on the streets of Bangkok. HDR time-lapses are becoming increasingly popular. By capturing multiple exposures and then combining them into a single image, you can create stunning high dynamic range footage. If you're interested in learning more about photography, be sure to check out our website. And once you start shooting, Don't forget to share your own time-lapse videos of India with us on individual.in. We're an India-centric stock footage website. Want to know more? Drop us a comment.